Alright, let's make some windows. There will be 3 different size windows or door for this style house, and you'll have multiples of each. I'm just giving an example of how to do this. Once you have cut out your window shape and push the little panes through, you're going to cut a piece of wax paper about the size of the window. You're going to take your glue stick and just cover it with glue. Take your wax paper and stick it on there. Glue stick, wax paper, stick it on there. Glue stick, wax paper, stick it on there. And you do this however many times for however many windows that you have. Alright, let's add some windows to this house. When you add the windows, you just want to make sure you're consistent on making sure it's on the correct side on both pieces. You don't want your houses to be like this, because then windows will go on the right side and they will go on the wrong side on the other. So just make sure you're consistent. So we've got our little houses. I've got a small window up top. Got 2 longer windows, 1 longer window, and then 2 doors right there. So let's set these off to the side. We're going to do this one at a time. So I want the window to go underneath and show through. So I'm going to turn this over. Bring this down, line it up, press it down. That's it. I'm going to do the same for the bottom window. Put the glue, bring the window here, line it up, press it down. Same with the door. Glue. And line it up. There we go. Now, I want to make sure this is consistent. So, the window glue on the back of that. Press it down. Door. Glue. I'm doing this one right here, lining it up, setting it down. More glue, lining it up. There we go. Alright, let's add some shutters to these windows. We already cut out the little shutters from the pieces that were cut out as the windows. We made them 1/8 of an inch wide. We're going to use a glue stick. I'm going to use my tweezers because it's easier to handle them that way. Just going to rub glue one side of them. I'm going to line them up with the window. They fit just right because we cut them out from that window shape. Put glue on one side of them. There we go. Smother them in glue. There. There. Got the little ones. There. There. Got the shutters on the house. Next we have the door frames. It's just going to go around the door. I'm going to take the glue stick. Just going to line it up. If you want, you can turn it over and push it down. It's the same on all of them. Once you get it in place, you can turn it over, but once it dries, it's in place. There we go. Got one more door frame here. There we go. Just gonna line this up, line it up. All lined up, turn it over, smash it in place. There we go. Sometimes there's extra glue and you just wipe it down. Once you cover it in glitter, it doesn't matter. You won't see any of that. There we go. We have the shutters in place for these houses. Great. All right, let's add some structure to these houses. Now, you can skip this step. You don't have to do this step, but I prefer it. I like to cut pieces of cardboard that fit in between this score line and this score line. One on the top, one on the bottom. Same with over here. And then I always cut extra just in case I mess up. And then I cut the same, cut another piece, but I make sure it's a little smaller than this shorter side from the edge to the score line, because when you fold this up, you need to allow for the thickness of that cardboard when you fold it. So you leave a little space on the shorter end, and that's one for each short side as well. And these are 1/4 of an inch by whatever the length is that you need. So let's glue these pieces together. Put a bead of glue across the bottom, and I set cardboard in place. glue across the top, and I set the cardboard in place. Fits just inside that score line, just inside the score line. And then I take the shorter one, that's a little shorter than the length of that side, and I put the cardboard in evenly across that, so when I fold it together there is room for this piece of cardboard to fold in there. And now I go to the other side and glue cardboard in place over there. Top and bottom of the longest side. And the shorter side, I put the cardboard evenly in the middle, making sure there's a space on either side. And then, before we glue it together, you are going to need to trim that glue flap to allow for the thickness of the cardboard. So I'm cutting out this little part on the flap, so when I connect it to the other side there's room for the flap to come down. Over here you can see that flap, it would get in the way of that cardboard there. I guess the top doesn't matter. So I'm just cutting that out of the way. So now we are ready to glue it together. We're ready to glue this together. So what I like to do is line it up so it's touching, it's ready to go. I hold on to both sides in place and I put a bead of glue there we go. And then we are ready to glue the other side. There we go. Once that's glued together, I will fold these glue flaps then I always cut extra of these pieces of cardboard that I put along the bottom. I like to put one across the top for extra structure. So I put a little bit of glue along the top there. Once I know that's relatively cool and in place, go across, another bead of glue, and I hold it in place. That cardboard gives it a little extra structure. There we go. Alright, let's make this roof. So there is a score line. I don't know if you can see it. There's a score line right down the middle there to make it easy to fold. You can see it now. One thing I do like to do with my roofs is to, on the inside where it's going to connect, usually it's about 1/4 of an inch overhang on either side. So I like to draw a 1/4 inch line just so I know where to put the glue when I'm connecting it all. And this is on the underside, so no one will see this. You don't have to do this. It is what I prefer to do. Alright. So, there's no trick to putting this on. You just put some glue on there and you connect it. And if you're fast, while it's still hot, you can make any little adjustments that you need to even it up. Now it's not perfectly 1/4 of an inch. It overhangs a little, but it's just guidelines. So you can put your glue on the glue flaps and put this on. You can put it on the roof and put this on. I like to start with one side. I know I'm gonna put it in the, I want to make sure it's in the middle on top. So, yeah, that's pretty good. It's nice and even down this side and this side. So, if it's pretty even, that means when I fold it over, it's going to be pretty even over here too. So, I'm just going to add some more glue to the glue flap. I'm going to fold the roof over, making sure it's nice and even. You can smash it down, smash it down. There we go. We got a little house. Oh, it's so cute. There we go. Alright, let's make a little chimney. We've got to fold these on the score lines. Score lines make it so easy to fold things. Okay, we're going to put a little dot of glue. Hold this in place. Wipe the excess glue away. This is going to fit just so, wherever you want it on the house. So here's a door and here's a door. Even though there's windows back here, I'm going to put it towards the back of the house. So here, there are no flaps to put your glue. So I just put a bead of glue here and a bead of glue here, and hope that it hits the roof and kind of keeps it in place. So put a good amount of glue. And I kind of line it up. There. I hold it until it cools in place. There. There. You can leave it as it is. This is your little structure. Or you can put a little cap on the roof, which is what I like to do. Okay, so then I need some cut lines on two of the sides. On those score lines, I'm just cutting through the paper, just that 1/8 of an inch on either side, and on the opposite side I'm going to do the same thing. And then I'm going to fold on all the score lines. See how easy it is? How easy it folds when you make score lines. That's all I did. I just cut those two little pieces and then I folded all the sides down. So I want these little outer flaps to be on the inside when I fold it all up. This gets folded this way, this gets folded this way. It creates a little cap. Almost like a little box, tiny. And this will fit on top of the chimney. So, just with your glue gun, you just have to glue this in place, making sure you got glue everywhere, enough to keep everything in place. Oop, I screwed that up. Alright, I'm going to make sure that's kept down. Good. That's one side. Now we got this side. Just needs a little bit of glue, not a lot. Push that in. Clean that up. There, it's an 1/8 of an inch tall. What does this measure in the end? Almost 5/8 of an inch, yeah. 5/8 of an inch. So then, we want it to go on here. So we just cover it with glue here. And we pop it on there. Now, because of all the glue that was previously in there, you'll have to work with it to make sure it's kind of level. And as it cools, it will cool in place. You want to see where the front of the house is. That's where you want it to look the most level. There we go. There's our little house with some structure in there. Alright, next step, Glitter Town. Alright, let's go to Glitter Town. I like to use gloves when I apply the adhesive and the glitter. When you're doing multiples of things, it just helps. Here we go. We got a little house that needs glitter. Alright, here's what I like to do. I use a spray adhesive and I just spray the whole thing. I hold it from the inside so I'm not touching the outside at all. I cover it all. There we go. Then I like to use glitter, the glitter of your choice. I dump it into a container so I can reuse it later. And I just go to town. You just dump this stuff. There we go. And then when you're done, you want to tap it off, any excess off. There we go. Good. And then to finish it off, I like to use a fixative spray that sprays over top of the glitter and kind of secures it in place so I don't have glitter everywhere in my house. It's everywhere, but not loose. There we go. Now she is done.